Now we are going to learn something about adding and subtracting rational numbers using the box method. Now, I say rational numbers because it includes all the rational numbers, which are fractions, integers, whole numbers, and everything. So, most of the time what happens is when you learn about integers the first time and you get to things like fractions, it's gonna kind of goes crazy, like what happened to the minus in the middle? Why is it all of a sudden positive 8 when you change this and not plus 8? So I'm going to use the box method to help you with that. Before we move to that, I want you to look at this. This is our little integer man. So that's negative and positive. So negative times negative will be positive, and that's why I have negative times negative is positive. Now, negative times positive. Negative times positive is negative. And then positive times negative is negative. And obviously you know positive times positive is positive. Now you probably also would have heard about this song before, like row, row, row your boat. So it's like same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. So you have learned that before in 5th and 6th grade. So we are going to use all of those strategies that you learned, the song that you learned, and try to solve this problem. Now the problem says -1 minus -8. So it's -1, you take away -8 from it. Now the first step always you want to do is you want to look at these two numbers right here, these two signs over here. I'm going to highlight that. It says when you have something like that, negative and then the parenthesis and then the, so if you have two signs next to each other, always remember, multiply the signs. Multiply the signs. So step 1 will be multiply the signs. So check the sign. Take the signs next to each other. And multiply the signs. So this will become what? -1, and negative times negative, that will become positive. So -1, positive 8. What did I say? -1, positive 8? Yes, it is not -1 plus 8. I want you to start thinking about it as -1, positive 8. I will let you know about the reason later in another video, but right now I just want you to think about it that way. I took away the two signs, made it into one sign, and then I'm going to use my box method to solve this. So step 2 will be box the two integers. I'm writing integers over here because it's these are integers, so I'm going to write that. So to box it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to color them out. So -1 will be one of my boxes. So that way you understand this. And the other box, I have positive 8. Remember, I did not say add 8 or plus 8. I said positive 8. This is the easiest way to solve this problem because you know this song. The song tells you that when you have the same signs, you add and keep the sign. But when you have two different signs, that's your little box, it's separated, you have different signs, you subtract. Subtract what? The smaller number from the larger number. So the larger is 8. So 8 minus 1, you subtract it, you get 7. Now, after you subtract, it says what? Keep the sign of the larger number. Now, what's my larger number? 8. So what's the sign of my larger number? It was positive 8. So my answer will be, that's positive, so positive, and then you subtract it, so your answer is in step 3, which is solve. And you solved it to get positive 7. So that's how you are going to do for every single thing. When you use the box method, it is not any more operations, because you have to understand that when you have the two integers, it tells you, do you need to add, do you need to subtract. So same signs will be add, different signs will be subtract. So if you have another example like 1/2, negative 1/2, negative of negative, let me make this negative 1/2 and 1/8. Let me do 1/2 and 1/8. So in this one, again, the same thing. You have the two signs right there. When you have those two signs, you take those two signs and you multiply, just like step 1. Take the signs next to each other and multiply. You know negative times negative is positive, so this becomes negative 1/2 and positive 1/8. See, so in the fraction, you do the same. You box the two numbers that you have with the signs. It is not negative 1/2 plus 1/8. It is not that. It is negative 1/2 and positive 1/8. So I'm going to do the box again, so you understand this. So the first box is right here, and the second box is this right here. So the first box has negative 1/2, and the second box has positive 1/8. So look at the sign. The sign says negative, and look at this sign. This sign says positive. Those are different signs. Different signs subtract, keep the sign of larger number. So it means I have to subtract these two. So negative 1/2 and positive 1/8. These are the two. The only thing I need to keep in my mind is subtract. So before you subtract, you have to find the least common denominator, and you know, which means my denominator should be the same. And I know if I do 2 times 4, I'll get 8, and 8 times 1, I'll get 8. Now also, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So 1 times 4 is 4 now. This is where you have the other confusion. When you multiply, this was negative 1/2, so you're going to take a negative with it. You're not going to leave it behind. That's why you will get the answer as negative 1 times 4 is negative 4/8. And this one is positive 1 times 1. And positive 1 times 1 is positive 1. So when you solve this, two different signs, again, same thing, different signs, subtract. So you have 4/8 and 1/8, you subtract. When you subtract 4/8 and 1/8, you get 4 minus 1 is 3/8, sign of the larger number. The larger number was 4, the sign is negative, so the answer is negative 3/8. So you use the same strategy and using the box method, and life becomes much easier. Thank you.